Imagine this. The morning sun hasn't yet climbed over the hills. The world is quiet. Only the soft rustle of leaves and the distant sound of birds mark the beginning of a new day. In a small village, far away from the noise of cities, a woman, 102 years old, opens her wooden window. She takes a deep breath. No rush, no screens, no alarms. Just the rhythm of nature, and the beat of a heart that has witnessed over a century of life. Now pause. Have you ever wondered how some people live well beyond 100 years? Still able to walk, smile, remember, and breathe deeply, while others feel tired, sick, and fragile in their 60s or 70s. What makes the difference? Is it luck? Genetics? Expensive treatments? No. It's something far simpler, and far more powerful. It's habit. More specifically, it's what they do each morning, the first hour after waking up. The truth is, how you begin your day, especially as you age, sets the tone for your body, your mind, and even your lifespan. And yet, most people ignore this sacred hour. They reach for their phones. They rush. They skip breakfast. Or worse, they start the day in silence, but filled with stress, pain, and regret. But the oldest people in the world, those who live beyond 100, often without hospitals, without pills, do something very different. They treat each morning like a ceremony, a moment to heal, a time to listen to their body, a chance to stay strong, not just physically, but emotionally and spiritually. And here's what you must know. It's not too late. Whether you are 60, 70, or even 90, your mornings still have the power to change your life. One small shift in how you start your day could improve your memory, ease your pain, strengthen your legs, even calm your heart. And that's exactly what this video will share with you. In the next few minutes, we will quietly enter the lives of people who have lived longer than most of us dream. From mountain villages in Japan to sun-drenched homes in Italy, and even the peaceful corners of rural Indonesia, we will learn their morning rituals. Not from a doctor, not from a book, but from life itself. This isn't about being perfect. It's about choosing simple habits that truly matter. Habits that don't require money. Only intention. So if you've been waking up tired, if your body feels stiff, if you've started to wonder how many good years you have left, stay with me. Because what you do tomorrow morning could decide how long and how well you live. Let's begin with the first morning habit of people who live past 100. There's something sacred about the early morning. Before the world starts moving. Before the noise. Before the to-do lists. At 4:30 or 5 a.m., the air is cooler. The light is softer. And in those quiet moments, something powerful happens. Not outside, but within. In every culture where people often live past 100, there's a quiet rhythm to the morning. Whether it's an old farmer in Okinawa, a grandmother in a Sardinian hill town, or a 101-year-old man in a small Javanese village, they all begin their day the same way. In stillness. No television. No phone. No news. No rush. Just the soft sound of their breath, maybe the chirping of early birds, and the silence of a new beginning. This silence is not empty. It is full. It's full of intention. Full of awareness. Full of peace. Many of us wake up and immediately begin reacting, checking messages, complaining of pain, worrying about the day ahead. But those who live long, healthy lives take a different path. They don't rush to stand up. They stay in bed for a moment. They stretch their fingers and toes. They sit up slowly, allowing their body to adjust. They are not lazy. They are respectful, toward time, toward their body, toward life itself. In that first quiet hour, they reconnect with themselves. Some pray. Some breathe deeply. Some simply look out the window and feel grateful to have woken up one more day. And why is this important? Because silence is healing. When we wake up and sit in silence, our heart rate remains steady. Our blood pressure stays low. Our mind, which might be filled with fear or worry, begins to calm. Science supports this too. Studies show that the first 30 to 60 minutes after waking can influence our hormones, brain function, and overall emotional balance. If we wake in stress, our cortisol spikes. But if we wake in peace, our nervous system thanks us. Silence also gives us space to listen, not just to the world, but to our body. Is there tightness in the back? A dull ache in the knees? Is the breath shallow or full? People who live to 100 are not lucky with their bodies. They are in tune with their bodies. And that awareness begins the moment they open their eyes. There is also a spiritual side to silence. Many elders who live long speak of the morning as a divine time, a gift. Not everyone who sleeps at night wakes again. But you did. And in that silence, they say a few simple words, not loudly but softly. Thank you. I am still here. That gratitude, whispered or even unspoken, shifts the heart into a place of strength. It tells the brain that today is not a burden, but a blessing. It gently reminds the body to keep going. Not because it must, but because it can. This early rising also connects to something deeper. Our ancestors did not wake up with alarms. They rose with the sun, with the natural rhythm of the earth. And this rhythm is still inside us, even after years of modern life. When we rise early without noise, we return to that natural clock. We allow our body to remember what it once knew, to greet the day slowly, respectfully, gently. And for older adults, this is even more important. Because the body changes with age. The bones need time to adjust. The heart needs time to warm up. Waking early and in silence allows all this to happen, without force, without pressure. So what can you do, starting tomorrow? You don't need to rise at 4 a.m., but try setting your alarm 30 minutes earlier than usual. When you wake, don't rush. Don't reach for your phone. Just sit. Breathe. Feel your feet touch the floor. Maybe open a window. Let the air touch your face. And do nothing for just a few minutes. Let the silence wrap around you. In that silence, you may feel something stir, a memory, a calmness, a little more strength than you thought you had. That's how people who live past 100 begin their day. Not with action, but with awareness. Not with sound, but with stillness. And maybe, just maybe, the peace you find in that morning silence will carry you gently through the rest of your day, and through the many more years to come. Before the sun is fully up, and before even a single bite of food enters their mouth, people who live long, healthy lives do something simple, but profoundly powerful. They drink. Not coffee. Not sweet tea. Not juice from a bottle. They drink warm water. Sometimes plain. Sometimes with a slice of lemon. Or infused with ginger, turmeric, or a few leaves of local herbs from the garden. It is the first gift they give to their body. After 7 or 8 hours of sleep, the body wakes slightly dehydrated. The blood is thicker. The joints feel stiffer. The organs have been quietly working through the night, repairing cells, digesting the previous day's food, detoxifying the system. And now, they are ready to be cleansed. This is where warm water becomes a medicine. In Okinawa, home to some of the world's oldest people, elders begin their day with nuchi gusue, a local term that means food is medicine. For them, even a glass of warm water is sacred. They sip it slowly, feeling it move through their body. They do not gulp it down. They honor it. In a village in northern Italy, a 99-year-old man prepares his special acqua calda each morning, a cup of warm water with a little honey and lemon. He calls it his morning sunshine. It wakes up his stomach. It softens his throat. It tells his heart, we begin again. In rural Java, many elderly women prepare jamu, a traditional herbal tonic made with turmeric, ginger, tamarind, and sometimes garlic. It may taste bitter, but to them, it is strength in a cup. They've been drinking it since they were children, and now, well into their 90s, they still walk, garden, and care for their grandchildren. But why warm water? Because it gently wakes the digestive system. It encourages bowel movements, helps the kidneys flush out toxins, and improves blood flow. For older adults, whose organs may not be as efficient as they once were, this is vital. Cold water can shock the system first thing in the morning. It tenses the stomach, restricts blood vessels, and slows digestion. But warm water soothes. It relaxes. It opens. It's like a gentle stretch, but for the inside of the body. And what about the herbs? Turmeric is known to reduce inflammation. Ginger aids digestion. Lemon helps alkalize the body and provides vitamin C. Honey, when pure, gives natural energy and soothes the throat. These are not magical ingredients. But over time, they become powerful allies, especially when used with consistency. And consistency is the secret. People who live past 100 don't just do something healthy once or twice a week. They make it a ritual. Every single morning, no matter what. Even if it's just half a cup. Even if they don't feel thirsty. Even if it's raining, cold, or they're a little tired. They still pour the water. They still sip with care. It becomes a moment of pause. A ritual of connection. A sign to the body, asterisk, you are loved. You are nourished. Let us begin the day gently. Asterisk. You may think, but I've never done this. I'm already in my 70s. Is it too late? No. It is never too late to begin something kind. Start tomorrow. Boil water. Let it cool slightly, lukewarm, not hot. If you have lemon, squeeze a bit in. Or slice a few pieces of ginger and let them steep for a minute. Sit down. Hold the cup. Breathe in the steam. Then take your first sip, not in a rush, but with calm. Feel it enter your body. Feel how it warms you from the inside out. No matter your age, this simple act is a form of healing. Because people who live long lives don't always seek big cures. They rely on small habits. Daily ones. Quiet ones. And this, the humble glass of warm water, is among the first. They trust it. They trust nature. They trust the wisdom of rhythm. So tomorrow, before breakfast, before the world asks anything of you, give your body this one gift. It costs almost nothing. But over time, it may give you everything: more clarity, better digestion, stronger kidneys, and a calm heart to carry you through the day. The sun rises slowly across the horizon. A light mist covers the ground. In a quiet backyard, an 88-year-old woman stands barefoot on the earth. She's not rushing. She's not doing intense exercise. But her body is in motion. She lifts her arms toward the sky. She breathes in. She bends slightly at the waist. She breathes out. To someone passing by, it may not look like much. But to her body, and her life, it is everything. Because one of the most consistent habits among people who live past 100 is not extreme fitness. It is gentle, regular movement. Especially in the morning. They do not wake up and sit in front of a screen for hours. They do not let their muscles grow cold and stiff. They don't wait for pain to begin before they take action. Instead, they begin each day with motion, simple, soft, and deliberate. In a mountain village in China, elders walk slowly through gardens, brushing their fingers against the leaves. In parts of India, centenarians sweep their doorsteps, an act of both service and movement. In a small town in Costa Rica, a 97-year-old man still carries a small basket of bananas from the yard to the kitchen each morning. Not because he has to, but because he chooses to. It is their way of telling the body, asterisk, wake up, old friend. Let's keep going together. Asterisk. Why does this matter? Because the human body, no matter how old, is built to move. And when we stop moving, we begin to decline. Joints grow stiff. Muscles weaken. Blood slows. The mind becomes foggy. And balance, that precious thing, begins to fade. But movement is medicine. You don't need to run. You don't need to do yoga on the floor. You don't even need to leave the house. A few gentle stretches while sitting on the edge of the bed. Raising your arms to the ceiling and rotating your wrists. Marching your legs softly while seated. Walking 10 slow laps around your home, or even just around a room. This too is enough, if done with care, and done every morning. Many centenarians don't follow a fitness program. They don't count steps. But they move because they must, because their way of life demands it. They sweep. They farm. They hang laundry. They walk to the market. But more than that, they move because it feels good. It clears their mind. It opens their lungs. It keeps their digestive system active. And perhaps most importantly, it helps them stay independent. One of the biggest fears among aging adults is the loss of independence. Not being able to stand up without help. Not being able to dress or cook or bathe alone. But here's the truth. Every little bit of movement you do today, especially in the morning, helps you stay strong enough to live the life you want tomorrow. There's also something else that movement gives: balance. Literally and metaphorically. When you move your body, you stimulate your inner ear, your muscles, and your nerves. This keeps your balance sharp and your risk of falling low. And for those over 70, preventing a fall can be the difference between 10 more good years, or a slow decline. So if you're thinking, I'm too old to move much, let me tell you, you're not. Movement doesn't mean sweating. It doesn't mean pain. It simply means motion. Wiggle your toes. Roll your shoulders. Twist gently at the waist. Swing your arms while walking to the kitchen. If possible, step outside and walk 5 minutes in the sunlight. Each step counts. Each stretch adds a drop of youth back into your joints. Each breath you take while moving sends oxygen to your brain, to your heart, to the muscles that carry you. This is how those who live past 100 continue forward. Not through big efforts, but through daily devotion. Their movements are not rushed. They are not loud, but they are consistent. Every morning, they show up for their body. They honor it, not for what it used to be, but for what it still is. And so can you. Start small. Stretch in bed. March your feet while brushing your teeth. Roll your neck side to side. Try to stand tall, even if just for 30 seconds longer than yesterday. The goal is not to become young again. The goal is to keep the body awake, responsive, alive. Because every step you take, every joint you move, every breath you deepen, is a step toward more years, more freedom, and more joy. So tomorrow morning move. Even just a little. Your future self will thank you. As the morning light settles across the kitchen floor, a small table is quietly set. There's no feast, no buffet, no rush. Just a warm bowl of porridge, a boiled egg, a few slices of sweet potato, or a handful of fresh fruit. Maybe a cup of warm tea with no sugar, just steam rising gently from the surface. This is breakfast. And for many people who live beyond 100 years, this meal is sacred. Not because of what's on the plate, but because of how it's approached. They don't skip breakfast. They don't eat while standing. They don't rush through it with one hand on a phone or television remote. They sit. They eat slowly, mindfully, quietly. And what they eat, while simple, is powerful. From the rice paddies of Japan to the hills of Sardinia, from the valleys of Costa Rica to the highlands of Indonesia, centenarians begin their day with foods that are warm, whole, and gentle on the stomach. Foods that give, not just energy, but stability. Because for an aging body, the first meal of the day does more than fill the belly. It sets the rhythm for the whole day ahead. Let's pause and think about this for a moment. Many people today skip breakfast completely. I'm not hungry, they say. Or, I'll just have coffee. But the body of someone over 60, 70, or 80 years old does not operate the same way it did decades ago. The muscles are thinner. The digestion is slower. Blood sugar levels are more sensitive. And the need for steady, nourishing energy is greater than ever. That's why centenarians eat breakfast, even if it's small. They begin their day with foods that are easy to digest, but rich in nutrients. Things like boiled or steamed root vegetables like sweet potato or cassava, filling, fibrous, and full of natural sugars. Oatmeal or rice porridge, often cooked slowly with water or broth, sometimes topped with seeds, nuts, or herbs. Boiled eggs, giving a soft but complete source of protein for strength and muscle maintenance. Fresh fruits, not sugary juices, but real, whole pieces, papaya, banana, apple, or guava. Herbal teas, like ginger, lemongrass, or green tea, to warm the stomach and stimulate digestion. They do not overeat. In fact, many centenarians follow a simple rule: eat until 80% full. Not because they're on a diet, but because they've learned, through experience, that too much food weighs the body down, especially in the morning. Lightness brings clarity. And clarity brings movement, strength, and a steady heart. Another quiet wisdom found among the long-lived is this: they often eat the same kind of breakfast every day. There's no constant change. No need for variety that confuses the stomach. Instead, they find what works, and they stick with it. This creates routine. And routine, especially in the morning, is calming for the nervous system. It creates a sense of safety, of rhythm, of all is well. Now think about your own mornings. Do you eat? Do you eat slowly? Do you feel nourished, not just full, but supported? Because it's never too late to begin this habit. You don't need fancy superfoods. You don't need recipes with long ingredients. You don't even need a big appetite. What you need is a commitment to care for yourself at the start of each day. Tomorrow morning, try this. Warm up a sweet potato. Boil an egg. Slice a banana. Brew some simple tea. Sit down. Take a moment. Eat with presence. Chew slowly. Breathe between bites. Feel the food warming your belly. Feel it reaching your muscles, your brain, your bones. It doesn't take much. But over time, this small act becomes a great gift. Because the body remembers how we feed it. And when we nourish it well, especially in the first hours of the day, it responds with energy, clarity, and steadiness. People who live past 100 don't eat to impress anyone. They eat to live, to move, to remember, to stay connected to their bodies, to their land, and to their inner rhythm. So make your breakfast sacred again. Let it be a moment of nourishment, not noise. And in that quiet meal, know this: you are building not just strength for today, but a foundation for the years ahead. The room is still. Outside, the birds have begun their quiet conversations with the trees. The sun is just touching the tops of the roofs. In the corner of a modest home, a very old man sits on a small mat. His hands rest on his lap. His eyes are closed. He is not asleep. He is present. He does not speak aloud. But inside, a gentle voice rises from his heart. Thank you. I am still here. This is not a performance. Not a duty. It is a way of being. Because among all the morning habits of those who live beyond 100 years, perhaps the most powerful is also the softest. Gratitude. Not the kind shared loudly, but the kind whispered quietly, deep inside the chest. It is a kind of prayer, no matter what belief or religion. It is the sacred pause before the day begins. A moment to acknowledge, life has given me one more day. This habit, practiced across cultures and continents, connects the oldest among us in a silent unity. In Sardinia, Italy, 101-year-old grandmothers light a candle and sit in silence for 5 minutes before beginning their day. No requests, no demands, just a silent thank you for another sunrise. In Okinawa, Japan, elders say a short phrase each morning, *Nankiranaisa. It means, everything will work out, one day at a time. A small surrender to the mystery of life. In Indonesia, the elderly rise before the sun and sit outside as it rises, placing their palms together, touching their chest, and giving thanks. No matter what aches. No matter what troubles came the day before. Because when you have lived a long life, you know this: each new day is not guaranteed. That awareness creates reverence. Not fear. Not sadness. Reverence. And from that reverence comes peace. People who live long lives do not always live easy lives. Many have buried friends, lost children, endured wars, poverty, loneliness. And yet, they continue. Not because their bodies are strong, but because their hearts are soft. Gratitude has made them strong in a quiet way. Science, too, has begun to understand what ancient people always knew: gratitude improves sleep. It reduces blood pressure. It lowers stress hormones. It even strengthens the immune system. But for the elderly, it does something even deeper. It gives the mind a place to rest. Instead of waking to fear or regret, gratitude gives the mind a gentle focus. What is good in my life today? Who is still with me? What beauty can I still feel, even in a body that grows older? Prayer, too, is often part of this habit. Not long, complicated recitations. Not rules. Just a quiet moment, eyes closed, hands on heart, perhaps facing the window or the rising sun, and saying a few sincere words. Thank you for this breath. Please give me peace today. May I be kind, even when I'm tired. Even those who don't follow a religion often speak to something greater in the morning. Some call it God. Others, nature. Some simply call it the deep self. Whatever the name, the purpose is the same: to remember that life is not only about doing, but about being. To begin the day rooted in presence, in humility, in connection. And what happens when you do this every morning? Your world softens. You complain less. You listen more. You smile at small things. You forgive easier. You begin to see your life not as something to fix, but something to honor, just as it is. Even your body responds. Your breath deepens. Your chest expands. Your posture lifts. You walk not in fear of the day, but with quiet confidence. And this, more than any pill, any doctor, or any secret formula, is the spirit that keeps people alive past 100. They wake with gratitude. They walk with intention. They live with reverence. So tomorrow morning, before the phone, before the coffee, before the noise, pause. Sit in silence, even for 1 minute. Close your eyes. Take a breath. And say, softly, honestly, from your soul, "Thank you." That's all. And from that moment, build your day. Because the oldest among us have shown us this truth. When we begin our mornings in gratitude, life, no matter how old we are, feels just a little longer, a little brighter, and a lot more beautiful. So now, you've seen them. 5 simple morning habits. They don't require money. They don't demand perfection. They don't need technology, or youth, or even great health. They only require intention. To rise early. To sit in silence. To sip warm water with care. To move your body gently. To eat with nourishment, not indulgence. And to greet the day with gratitude. These are not habits for the young. These are habits for the wise. Habits for those who have walked long roads, endured many winters, and still rise each day with quiet strength. Because people who live past 100 rarely chase life. They don't rush through their mornings. They don't fill their hours with noise. They move slowly. They breathe deeply. They pay attention. And in that attention, they find longevity. Not just more years, but better years. That is the great secret. We often look for answers in big things, medications, diets, machines. But the truth has always been waiting in the small, repeated moments. The first breath of morning. The warm cup between your hands. The slow bend of your back as you stretch. The taste of simple food. The silent thank you whispered into the rising sun. This is how they live. Not perfectly. Not without struggle. But consistently. Peacefully. And you? You may be thinking, I've never done these things. I've already passed 70, or even 80. Is it too late? No. In fact, now is the perfect time. Because your mornings are still yours. Because your breath still rises. Because each new day is a doorway. And you have the power to walk through that doorway with presence, no matter your age. You don't need to change everything. You only need to choose one thing. Start tomorrow. Wake a little earlier. Sit in silence. Drink warm water. Stretch your body. Eat slowly. Speak softly to yourself with kindness. Whisper a prayer, even if it's just a sigh with meaning. And then, repeat. Do it again the next day. And again. Let it become your new rhythm, your new offering to life. Because time is not your enemy. Time is your teacher. And if you treat the morning as a classroom, if you come to it each day ready to learn, to listen, to care, then life, even in old age, becomes rich again. The aches may not disappear. The past cannot be rewritten. But the way you meet each morning, that you can still choose. And that choice, that sacred choice, is the path to peace, clarity, and even longevity. So, dear viewer, remember this. A long life does not begin in a hospital. It begins in the first hour of every day. In silence. In movement. In warmth. In nourishment. In gratitude. Let that be your practice. Let that be your gift to yourself. And maybe, just maybe years from now, someone will watch you rise in the morning, and they'll wonder, what is their secret? And you'll smile, not because you had the answer, but because you lived it. One quiet morning at a time.